Hello students, I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about comparing and ordering decimals. It's very similar to what we've already done before, comparing whole numbers, but decimals are just a little bit different. So take a look here. We're going to be comparing these numbers to figure out which one is greater than or less than. Take a look at this key over here. You can write this down in your notebook if you'd like. Greater than symbol looks like this. Less than symbol looks like this. And of course your equal symbol. Let's start by looking at this set of numbers here. How can we figure out which one is greater than or less than? The first thing that you need to do is look at the leftmost number. So here we have a 3. We're going to figure out which one is greater, 3 or 3. Of course they're equal. So what you have to do is bump over to the right. Even though there's a decimal here, it's the same process as with whole numbers. Move to the right one more. So move to 1 and 2. Which is greater? Yes, the 2. So right away you know that this number over here is greater. So write a greater than symbol. You can write these along with me to help you. I'd like you to do that. Let's look at this next set. Look at the furthest left number, which is the 4. They're the same, so you cannot yet figure out which one is greater because these two numbers are equal. You bump over to the right. These are also the same. One isn't greater or less than yet, so you have to keep moving. Move to the 1 and the 3. Which one is greater? Yes, the 3. You got it. So this number is greater than this number. Write the greater than symbol here. This is actually the less than symbol, I'm sorry. So is this. They're both less than. 3.126 is less than 3.297. Sorry to confuse you. 4.917 is less than 4.934. Alright. Let's look down here. Now this one's tricky. I taught you this before, but hopefully you remember. This one has more digits than this one. Now that only matters with whole numbers. That does not matter in decimals. It doesn't matter how many digits there are. You have to go through the process of looking at the furthest left number and moving to the right. So let's start on the left. Even though this one has 4 digits, it doesn't matter if it's a decimal. You still have to go through the process. You have 6s. They're the same. You have to bump over. Now you have a 1. They're the same. Now you have a 0 and another 0. Guess what? Zeros don't count. If a 0 is at the end of the number, it does not count. You might as well just erase them and pretend that they're not there. And just look at the digits that aren't 0. 6.1 and 6.1. Even though this one has more zeros, the numbers are equal. Zeros at the end do not matter. So they are equal. Okay. Let's take a look down here. Now I told you a minute ago, hopefully you remember, when you're doing decimals, it does not matter how many digits there are. You still have to look to the right. Or excuse me, look on the left and move to the right. So you look on the left and you have 2 3s. You need to move over. We have an 8 and a 9. This one is greater. Even though we have a 1, 2, 3 here, it doesn't matter because the 8 is less than the 9. So this number is less than 3.9. 3.8123 is actually less than 3.9. You have to look at the place value. Now, there's an exception to the rule of looking at how many digits there are. That would be if your whole number had more digits. For example, if I do 34.12 and then do a circle and have, let's say, 4.36, I already know that 34 wholes is greater than 4 wholes. So I don't need to do any matching because 34 by itself is bigger than 4. And since those are both whole numbers, I know that this one is greater. I don't think you're going to come across that very much, but just in case you do, now you know. Let's move on. Let me remind you of two things. First of all, zeros at the end don't matter. You only look at these numbers. The zeros at the end don't count. Also, you start on the left and move to the right. Let me give you a set of numbers now. Well, actually, let me tell you a joke because I've been told that I don't smile enough on these videos and I'm not very funny. So let me tell you a joke. Why was the math book so sad? Think about it. Why was the math book so sad? Because he had so many problems he couldn't even solve. Haha, so funny. Alright, let's move on. Here's a set of numbers. You're going to put these in order from least to greatest. So you can copy them down and then put them in order as I go along. Let's do 3.176, semicolon, 3.921, semicolon, 3.09735. Take a moment and write all of those numbers down. You can pause it if you need to. Now let's put them in order from least to greatest. Not greatest to least, I want least to greatest. Let's start with the furthest most digit. They all have one digit in the whole number section to the left of the decimal, so we know that we're going to have to start moving to the right. If this were a 43, this one's bigger automatically because 43 is bigger than 3, but it's not. It's just a 3.176. So starting here, 3, 3, 3. We're going to have to move to the right to discover anything. 1, 9, 0. Oh wait, I just noticed. This number has 6 digits. This one only has 4. Does that mean this number is greater? No, it does not. If it's to the right of the decimal, all those extra numbers, it doesn't matter. You still have to go through the process of looking from left to right. So we have 1, 9, and 0. Which one is the least? The 0. So this number is going to go first. Write this down with me. 3.09735. Semicolon. Separating numbers, you need a semicolon, otherwise I'm going to think you're trying to do thousands or millions. Cross this one out because you're done. Now let's figure out which one's next. 3.176 or 3.921. We said the 3 is the same, so we bump over to 1 and 9. 9 is greater, so we know that one's going to be last. Next we have to do 3.176 because we're doing least to greatest. So write 3.176. Semicolon when separating numbers, cross that one out. Now you just have one more, write it down. These are now in order from least to greatest. That's all. Write down any questions you have, and I will help you with them when we get back together. Thank you very much for watching.